Good morning, everybody. We're gonna get started here in about 1 minute. Lisa's running a little bit late, but we're gonna start with the initial stuff. If y'all can silence your phones, please. And if some of the members have been have brought it to our attention that at times people are talking. We don't mind if y'all talk, but y'all have to talk outside during the meeting, please. Because it's disruptive to other members who are here attempting to listen to the meeting. Can we all stand for a moment of silence? And at this moment, also remember Mr. H.N. Bitters, as he passed away yesterday.
No way. Oh, no. Really? I'm sorry.
Moment of silence. Remember Mr. Bitters. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag, pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
We're commencing the meeting at 9:04. We're gonna go into actions.
I think we were gonna do the normal stuff to the general manager report and then go into discussion actions.
Okay. All right, regarding last month's meetings, does anybody have any questions regarding last month's meetings?
Yes, reviewed the minutes, and the possible discussion, possible action items. Number 8 says estimate for hotel repairs. They approved special assessment. We did not approve special assessment. I'd like that to be amended to say discussed special assessment.
Okay.
I made a note here and signed it. And then on number 12, the approval of monies for marketing and billboard donation. Warren donated 1,000. Wiley's donated 3,200. That needs to reflect 1,020, and FCSA contributed an estimated 3,000. So that needs to be reflected. I'll give these to Charlena for
Amending.
corrections. Yeah.
Voted.
So I'll make a motion to approve last month's meetings minutes on January 18th with the revised corrections.
Voted. Secretary's report.
We got to second the motion and vote on it.
Oh, yeah. I make a motion to approve with the amended, with the amendments made to the minutes. I make a motion.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Secretary's report.
I never received a packet, so I don't have any, I don't believe we had any correspondence that would merit you reading as far as the secretary's report.
Put that up here. Mr. Dillard put that up here.
So you guys move on to the next one, we'll review it.
We don't need to review it like you said.
We can do the treasury report. We have treasury report.
No, yeah, yes. Okay, I'll need the microphone. All right, so, I don't need loudly. If you guys can't hear me, just let me know. So last month, we had been going down on our money by paying insurance and whatnot, but last month we went up close to 80 grand in our overall ending balances of our bank accounts. And last month, end of January, we were up about $34,000 more than we had at the end of,
I think Jason's, he's not using.
they put it in front of Tony's deal.
I know which way they go.
All right, anyhow, so our monies are going up, but also since we're on cash accounting, we realized all those expenses for insurance and taxes. So hopefully we're gonna build that back up enough by the time we have to pay it again in October. So looking at the P&L, with our net operating income, October negative 252,000. And then November, December, and January are in the range of $23,000 to $27,000 net operating income. For the year, we're at negative 177,000 and change. We made $21,000 in lot sales and purchases in January. That's pretty good. I guess your sale was successful, so good job on that. So I don't see the list of what's lots sold, but so that's fine. We got a FRM cancellation, one new FRM, one charter give back, and 3 properties transferred in between private owners. And we've got the motel. Got it broken down a little bit differently by taxable rooms and untaxable rooms. But it looks like the total was 18,482 income for both. No, that's December to the 1st to the 31st. Is there another page?
No.
Okay, well, anyway. All right,
Number 4. but I'll-
so I think that's fine. All right, if anyone has questions or wants to talk to me later, I'm available.
Jason. That will affect it. All those extra stuff, it was pretty good.
Oh, last minute. All right.
Jason, can you tell us what the current balance is right now in our accounts?
Yeah, last month it was $770,764, and now it's $804,596. That includes preservation, restricted funds, the surety bond for the landfill. That's all our money's included into that thing. If you take off the landfill, then in liquid cash, I guess we have like 175 minus 800, 650, something like that. So it's no less, but 625, I guess, in liquid funds,
But in total, we have over 800,000.
including what's tied up in the CD for the surety bond.
There was there was an increase from last month, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I apologize for my tardiness this morning.
Gonna make some comments.
Yes.
I just want to add a little bit to the treasurer's report. I had a comment. I don't have access to QuickBooks, so I had Lisa inform me of some of this stuff. In this fiscal year, we spent about $1,600 out of the restricted fund. I think it currently has a balance of maybe around $73,000-ish dollars. How much? Oh, okay. Restricted's at 100,000. It's a credit card, so it's we spent about 8,900 from preservation out of the restricted, or preservation to spend about that much money. And I think those numbers just are important because I think before getting on the board, I didn't really understand restricted and I didn't know what all those accounts meant. But I think the more information that we can give you on those accounts and the money that is being spent on them, that it's good information. So just want to let everybody know that. Because it's not the restricted fund, it's not reported in the report. So
Okay. I wanted to, I don't know if everybody here saw or was at the forum, but there was a question about $120,000 in legal fees. And so I went looking, and as of last fiscal year, the total amount spent in for attorney's fees was $21,000. So I have no idea where that number came from. But I just wanted to clear that up because I was shocked when it was asked of me. Excuse me. I also wanted to let everybody know that Triumvir, the financial company that we are using, will be here at the annual meeting. We know that everybody's had a lot of questions, so they will be coming in at the end of the meeting. Excuse me. To answer any questions the members might have and explain anything and give an overall report on the health and the association. And that's all I have. So treasurer financial stuff.
Can I just say one thing regarding that? The forum was very nice and it was informative. But that's what Lisa just explained. It's a perfect example of how mounds are created out of molehills around here. And I know you all are very active in participating in our meetings. You all have a good grasp of it, but unfortunately, things run faster around here than lightning. And most of it is incorrect. When y'all want correct answers or complete answers, they're right here. We've always provided those for everyone. Thank you.
It could be beneficial if we broke down these legal fees in a couple of different classes or GL codes, so it's obvious on the P and L that the 120, well, auditing cost us 30 grand a year, attorneys were 21 grand a year, triumvirate with this much, it's kind of in one chunk, which is probably why everybody was confused on why it was 120 grand for attorneys.
Okay. Anything else on that?
We can just say no.
Is Tony still on?
I said we should break down the legal fees a bit better so people wouldn't be confused that everything went to the attorneys.
Right.
Is Tony still on?
Tony, are you still on?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure because somebody was trying to call my phone.
Tony, do you mind me reading something in the secretary's report for you?
No. feel free.
Okay. Mr. Dillard has requested that this be read into the minutes. To FCSA Board of Directors and membership, I'd like to respectfully address the Board of Directors in regard to serious fiduciary responsibility that has been overlooked. FCS bylaws clearly state requirements of a board member. One must be a lot owner. Furthermore, our bylaws define a lot owner means a person who holds record title or specialty lot or real property in a residential subdivision in the association. Additionally, Property Code 209 defines owner as means a person who holds record title to property in a residential subdivision, includes the person representative of the person who holds the record title to property in a residential subdivision. Personal representatives are defined as an individual appointed to manage and settle an estate similar to an executor or administrator. There have been 2 instances in recent times regarding lot ownership and eligibility. A board candidate was allowed to run, however, because a pending divorce could possibly result in her lot owner status changing, she would be forced to resign. A member was made to add his name to property that initially was not in his name. Currently, we have a board member that's name does not appear as an owner on 2 deeds, thus not eligible. The property deeds are listed in listed name of Casa Baltimore LLC, and John Wiley does not appear on the deeds. Copies attached. Our FCSA board has fiduciary duty to enforce the rules consistently and fairly. It could be considered selective enforcement when the board does not enforce its rules. An HOA board that doesn't follow its own rules will have a hard time enforcing the rules against homeowners. Homeowners can argue that the HOA no longer has the authority to enforce the rules because it does so in selective manner. Additionally, the legality of motions and action items votes taken since the annual meeting of 23 are in legal question. An HOA board that does not follow proper procedures may ignite doubts of credibility. Submitted, Steve Dillard. So,
Mr. Dillard, are you here? Can you raise your hand? Okay.
so since that's somewhat addressed at me, I'll address some of that. Mr. Dillard, who owns Casa Baltimore?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It's a company that owns the property.
I own it.
The company owns
And
the.
it says right here in your documents that Brittany Wiley and John Wiley are the only members of that. I hold the deed. It's in my safe. I hold the deed.
Your name is not on the deed.
I hold the deed. I own the deed. So,
Your name has to appear.
good luck with that. Thank you for your input.
Motion would make fiduciary the word of the year in Clark Springs.
It was put through AI as
Of course it was.
question.
AI knows
Come back
everything.
with,
We
You
understand.
are not a lot owner. The company is the owner. If you check it, it says
Like
company
I
is
said,
the owner.
good luck with that.
Okay. Did we go through anything else?
Generally,
Okay. We can talk about switching.
not yet.
Okay. Do you mind? No, do you mind?
I mean, if you want.
Okay.
It's not necessary.
we are going to change up the agenda today. I don't know if everyone knows, but, Brittany Wally's grandfather passed away and their funeral is today. So we are going to do the, discussion action items before the committees so that he can slip out, to go to the funeral, during the, committee so that we have everyone here for voting. And we will also be, recessing and re-adjourning for executive session at 1 o'clock once we're done with this in order for him to participate. So now we can do the manager's report, sorry.
Good morning, everybody. How are you? Come on. Good morning. Thank you. Okay, I usually do a pretty long general manager's report, but today I'm not going to. Because I read something in the paper that is absolutely untrue. And I want to set the record straight for, as Memo calls, TV land. There's an article that came out in the paper that said this, and it was by Mr. Jim Rice. And it said, at the FCSA Town Hall meeting, February 1st, 2025, President Lisa Vail found it necessary to make a sales accrual entry to the P&L presented to the members to obtain the desired profit number. In essence, this falsifies the statements presented by combining the cash and accrual accounting systems willy-nilly. Well, let me set the record straight. And I'm going to be really stern about this. Memo, Lisa, John, Jason, nor Tony knew that I put that in there. We didn't put it in QuickBooks. I had an Excel spreadsheet that I printed that I added that because I thought it would be good for the members to know that I added Spectrum in there. It was bad judgment on my part. I apologize. But Sharon asked me if I put it in there the day of. I said yes. Lisa didn't do it. Memo didn't do it. John didn't do it. Jason didn't do it. And neither did Tony. But not one person called me, the GM, to ask me who put it in there. To me, this is slander because it's not true at all. So I apologize. Again, misjudgment. I thought I was doing something good. But the funny thing is every time somebody tries to do something good, the negativity comes out every single time. And frankly, I don't know how people live with that negativity in their life daily and are happy people. I can't see it. I really don't. And I can also understand why GMs don't stay here because that's all they deal with all the time. It's really sad. But again, I've mentioned this before. I'm not a negative person. I'm a positive person. I think I've met a lot of good people here that I truly, truly like. And I made 2 sheets so y'all can have this back there. Year to date, the motel is negative $17,000 year to date. So it's not making money. Now, if we do get that money from Spectrum, which I am working with them, then we will be positive $18,000. So there you go. I wanted to set that record straight. And I hope everybody understands I did it. I did not tell them because I'm the GM. I can print reports all day long on an Excel and add what, numbers in there. And that all I did was I thought I was doing good judgment, but apparently not, because then it wound up in the paper as totally wrong. But again, I take responsibility for it and I apologize. That's my GM report for today.
Michelle, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
I've learned a lot this week about accrual and cash. By putting in the way you did, would that be considered an accrual way
Yes.
of doing it?
So everybody's so for accruals. So if that was actually, yes, that's accrual. So does that really mean I have the cash? So then what am I reporting then? Cash I don't have. So why is accrual so great? I've worked with military for 13 years and I've worked with accruals. And we constantly, at the end of every single month, had to go back to the books and adjust it because either you spent too much or you didn't get enough because you accrued numbers that aren't real. All they are is an estimate. And you know why people use accruals? It makes them look good. If I accrued all of the assessments that we get, would that be real cash? We have 1,631 people that pay us, are supposed to pay us. So if I base accruals on 1,631 people, it's a lie. Because guess what? We wouldn't have delinquency, would we? So we really don't have that money. So no, accruals isn't the way to go. But people have their own opinions, and I've worked it long enough. In my opinion, it's cash only, and that's why I made the mistake. And again, I apologize. No knowledge over here, my fault, and I am woman enough to stand up here and admit when I've done something incorrectly. And to you, I apologize. Any more questions?
Yes, I have a couple more questions.
Let's see, guys.
In regards to transparency, in the last 6 months or last 90 days, has anyone requested specific financial information from
No.
this, from us or from the board?
No, but I will say this. We are working on some of the input that our members have asked for, by class. So I'm working with Triumvir with Lisa to finalize getting our budget in there because I've been manually putting the numbers in from the budget I made because it's not in there quite yet. So it will be, and we will be able to print out the class, each class, so everybody can see those individually.
To the best of your knowledge, have you denied any member any specific information regarding our monies?
Never. Now, the only person that do ask me all the time is Travis and Amber.
Okay. What is the proper procedure for asking for specific financial information from the board?
You have to send in a request by registered mail, and that's in the bylaws, I believe, or
And 209.
and 209, I mean, yes.
Have you received anything? Have you received any registered mail in the last 60 days or last 90 days?
No. None.
I still believe that's an unnecessary hurdle that we don't need to put in front of membership, and we haven't been. People have been asking for stuff and we've been giving it to them.
I have been, because I've been working with people. But the rules are in the 209, because people state that all the time here, do they not? 209, doesn't it get stated all the time? Well, 209 says you're supposed to send in a registered letter. But I have been very nice, and people will email me, and whatever they have asked, I have provided. Now, did I set a precedent? Yes, because I try to work with our members because they ask. And I like my members. But in reality, if I wanted to be a stickler, I'd say, no, I'm sorry, you gotta send me in a registered letter.
Well, the fact of the matter is you really need to be sending it in. It's not about transparency or trying to put a hurdle, but it protects the association and it protects the member. Because there's a process and a time limit to get answers and to get the information, it all needs to be documented. Otherwise, we could give one person information, another person not information, but if it's sent through certified letter, then it gets taken care of in a timely manner. But just emailing it, if everybody in this room had a question and emailed the GM,
I do that all day.
she does it all day.
Or
I
we
mean-
just give out a standard set of well-done financial documents and everyone can look at it
Which-
every month and not
yeah.
have to ask us anything. We would barely get questions.
We-
If we had the stuff broken down clearly and provided monthly to everyone, then no one would hardly ask for
Okay.
anything. It would just be
Jason,
odd questions.
Jason, did we not just say we were working on that?
Yeah.
Okay,
We have
so
to
let's
work
be
on it.
positive. I'm working on that, so we will see that. I've heard you all, and we're gonna provide it, okay?
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, everybody, smile. Thank you, okay.
Not too many smiles. It's like a bunch of pissed off people in there.
I want to make
Where's
a
the swear
point.
jar?
I'd like to make a point. If I may,
Just quickly.
quickly. I want to read something because Mr. Long does have his opinion. He's more than entitled to it. Treasurer, the treasurer shall keep, maintain, cause, or to be kept, maintain adequate and correct accounts of the properties and business transactions of the association, including accounts, assets, liabilities, receipts, disbursements, gains, and losses, and shall make or cause to be made such financial reports as required by law. He or she shall disperse funds to the association and may be ordered by the board of directors and shall render to the president and directors, when they request it, an account of all of his or her transactions as treasurer and the financial condition of the association. There's no person sitting up here that the burden falls more on than the treasurer. So, through your tenure of being here, you've profusely said that nobody needs to follow that rule and that document should be provided. I don't have access to QuickBooks. A lot of the work that you're referring to could have been done by yourself.
Well, you know what I was told right when I got on the board? Hey, what am I supposed to do? You just read something the GM gives you. Just parrot some numbers off of some paper.
That's your choice.
It took about
So you're
six. It
gonna
took about
blame-
6
Okay,
months
that's
of
it. All
asking
right.
repeatedly
We
for
need to-
QuickBooks access before I could even get into QuickBooks. Because you said, "Oh, you treasurer doesn't get QuickBooks." Did you or did you not say that repeatedly? You did. You did.
I don't know that there's any reason to
Yeah.
be mad here.
Well, you're accusing me of not doing my job when in fact I have access to 0 bank accounts. So how could I possibly make a transfer to report to you guys? So don't be accusing me of doing stuff I have been
We're not
refused
gonna-
access to.
We're not gonna have this discussion now.
And we aren't.
Discussion item number 1. Lost Springs drought resolution. That is, yes, that's something that you brought forward.
Okay, I know that water is on everybody's mind. It's on our mind as well. There are some things going on that we're doing that we can't talk about, but there are some things that have been mentioned to us by members that we could do moving forward that we certainly agree with. This is something that me, along with some other members, have put together, and I would like for us to vote on it and pass it and send it to the Groundwater Conservation District. It is a resolution, and it's written to say, Dear Groundwater Conservation District, whereas Lost Morris Spring is the 9th largest spring in Texas, whereas Lost Morris is vital to the well-being of residents and members of Fort Clark Springs and to the value of their investments, it is essential to the survival of wildlife, and the survival of Lost Morris Spring is critical to the economic health of Kinney County. Whereas Lost Morris Spring has gone completely dry for 3 consecutive years for the first time in recorded history, whereas reputable hydrologists, including that employed by Kinney County Groundwater Conservation District, have shown a correlation between increased pumping and the loss of spring flow, be it resolved that the Board of Directors for Fort Clark Springs Association, Inc., on behalf of its members, hereby urges Kinney County Groundwater Conservation District to act to ensure adherence to the official desired future condition concerning Lost Morris Spring, and to adopt lawful rules for reasonably limiting pumping during periods of drought in order to protect Lost Morris spring flow. So I think it's just something that we should discuss, and then maybe I think we should pass this and cordially send it to the Groundwater Conservation District and just further our engagement with them as we've done in the past.
Donna, do you have any thoughts?
I just think you need to change the date on this letter.
Oh, I know. That's just right. I mean, so I think in the letter that we have here, there's a body of the letter. Really, I think that's all we're discussing, Memo. The format, I think, can be altered. I'm not a format genius, so the format can be altered. And I at the bottom, I put sincerely yours, Fort Clark Board of Directors, and Lisa Bell as president, the only person signing it. But I really think that we, at least you, Tony, and Lisa should sign it at the minimum, but maybe all of us. So
I think we should also,
yes, I just didn't make it out like that because the body of it was important.
yeah,
Yeah, this is just a draft.
Yeah.
Will be on our letterhead. I saw something similar. written
somewhat recently, something similar to this, which was done in what, 2013, 2012?
I don't know.
That was some resolution that Bill Hahn put in about San Antonio coming here and sucking out of
Yeah, there was something similar to that. That one's filed, correct? I'm assuming it's filed.
I mean, the letter's fine. I don't disagree with it, but people have been sitting at the groundwater meetings for a couple years, barking all these things at them, and they didn't make any change in what they've been doing. So I don't know how this letter is going to help, and I'm hoping we come up with a more firm pressure that we might be able to put on them besides one piece of paper that we're going to send them. And I would wonder, where was this board at when we had groundwater election people? It was too political for us to get involved at that time, but now we're going to get involved now. So that's good.
Well, you know, if you give me just a second, we actually discussed this. Article 5 of the State of Texas Certificate of Incorporation states that no part of activities of the corporation shall be carried on propaganda or otherwise attempting to influence legislation, laws, or participating in or intervening in statements of any political campaign on behalf of any candidate for public office. We can't.
Well, we didn't have to endorse specific candidates, but we could have been very vocal.
But that's propaganda.
And we're not trying to talk about transgenders' rights, legal immigration, or some kind of policy. It's Fort Clark Springs. So we need to fight for the damn Springs and not just go, okay, here's a letter. Thanks. We need to go hard on this.
Well,
Well, this
looking
is a
at the
start.
positive
This is a
side,
start. This is a start.
that's a start, right? Is it a start?
Yeah, it's a
Well,
start.
and it's
So
more
that's
than a
positive.
start because we have met with them. You were here. We
Yeah,
have
it didn't
met
go
with them.
anywhere.
We've discussed with, just because it doesn't go the way we want, doesn't mean we're
It
not
didn't go
working
anywhere.
at going
It just
forward.
went dead.
It's all right, but it's a start, and that's positivity.
Jason, it's not because we didn't want to meet with them again.
I'm all for the letter. I'm all for putting pressure on them, sending them more letters. Maybe we can get a few more directors in the groundwater meetings. I've seen Charlena there several times. So it'd be nice to have some more involvement and let them know that we are really concerned with this. And I'm glad we're doing a letter, and I will definitely sign that letter. So
Thank you.
And you're hesitating. And where do you?
I'd like to say something that, contrary to a number of rumors I've heard, that this board is not on top of this issue or not interested. Obviously, that's false. This issue has been a priority for us for a long time. I've often questioned the manner in which we could have more influence, but certainly this resolution is something that I think would apply some pressure. It's at least a record of our feelings about how the groundwater district should pay more attention to this. So if nobody's made a motion yet, I move that we adopt this resolution, and as soon as I'm back next week, I'll be happy to sign it and we can send it.
is this going to be is this the same as all the other resolutions we have filed at the courthouse? It's going to be a list of those, or this is just a letter to them that we're following a resolution?
I mean, we can file it.
We could file it. I don't know that
It's necessary. But
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that's necessary.
do we have a second before we go to more questions?
I second the motion.
All right. Go ahead.
This is pertinent to the discussion of water, but
Your name?
my name is Christy Palmer. I've been a resident here at Fort Clark for over 20 years, and my husband, David Palmer, was recently elected to the Kinney County Groundwater District Board. I fully support this resolution. I definitely think that we're playing a long game with the water, and it's definitely a step in the right direction. I have another thing to add that I would like to make you aware of and possibly get your support on. The Groundwater Board has recently proposed some rule changes, and one of them is to increase the monthly reporting of permit holders to increase the reporting of permit holders to be monthly as opposed to yearly. And this particular rule has been requested by their hydrologist and their engineer, and it seems like a very something that they would do, a very positive, impactful motion for them to increase data collection. Their process is that they have to bring the rule up for public comment before they can vote on it, and they did that at their meeting last week. And I think that there were some objections to this particular rule as being a little bit burdensome maybe for some of the permit holders, and nobody said, yes, we want this rule. Because we sort of just thought it would it would happen anyway. So I would like to let the groundwater district know that we feel that this is an important change to their rules, that it helps with their data collection, and it will in fact help with keeping the stream.
Is it gonna be brought up on the next meeting?
They will vote at the next meeting on this rule.
Can you say something then?
No, that time is done, but you can still put in we have about until about Monday to kind of put in emails or comments. So I have created a little petition that basically states we strongly support this rule. And I would like to ask you to sign it. I don't know about whether you can sign it as Fort Clark directors, but I think that would be very effective. But at least if you would sign it as individuals, I'm going to give it to you. And I would like to ask the public to sign it also, because the more people that are in support of this rule, the more likely they are. I feel certain that they will pass it. It is in our benefit, but I just want them to know that we definitely are aware of this rule change and we do want it to happen. So
I'll sign it.
I'll sign
You
it.
want to read the rules and possibly that for, but she was getting them, I think that's probably. This is the main one that they were talking about.
Mrs. Palmer, can you email it to us or something?
Yes, I will email it to you guys and yeah.
Then we want to take this until you finish the thing for the Liberty and we can email on the resolution.
Well, she's,
If we do.
I'm sorry.
Well, I guess maybe we have the issue process, do we want to add this to the resolution first?
Hey, John,
Wait until the-
this is for me also. I don't want to use you all. I would do it separately if I was you.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So let us have time to review this. We can pass this and we can amend it later.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Two things. One, I'd like everybody to take a deep breath, everybody, on this side of the mic, on that side. Okay, please, it's important. We're assigning an awful lot of malice and motive to things that are taking place that aren't necessarily there. People are trying to do their best. I think on both sides. Okay? The other thing is that once again, you guys have a specific recommendation you're trying to do, and now we're trying to solve world peace. So I agree with Mr. Palmer. I think the resolution needs to be done, sent off. As I understand it, when Christie said this other thing is time sensitive, so if we're gonna sign it, they can make it available in the back or whatever, that we do that today. I would assume, Christie, that you're gonna send that off if you get signatures.
Yes, I will send it to
Okay,
all of
so-
the directors of the Kitty County Groundwater.
So we should help her help us. As far as the other thing goes, I would say let's do them separate. You guys have a thing on the wording. Perfection is the enemy of good enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Kurt.
That sounds reasonable.
Elizabeth, did you want? I'll be great. Elizabeth Hodges, been here since 2004. That's right. It's been a long haul and it's really frustrating. But I want to tell you what I think that resolution does, and I think it's very brave of all the board members to do it. It shows us, the public, that you're making a public stand and how important you think. It's not going to change anything. It's just say that spring is important. So I salute you for doing it. I think maybe down the road, you might want to think about sending one to the commissioner's court too, because we have the cricket ball. So thank you very, very much. It's a great stand. It's very positive and it communicates to all of us that you guys think that spring is important. We knew you did, but now it's in writing. So thank you to every one of you.
I'm sure, did everybody sign? Did we hear no?
No, I haven't.
She'll sign it.
I don't multitask well. Okay. All right, so you have a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
All right, unanimous. Thank you, Tony. Approval of the amended collection policy. I put this back on here. We voted to change the amount of our, excuse me, the amount of our, sorry, allergies. We made a motion and passed the change to our late fees to $30. Just to make sure, because there seems to be a lot of, well, anyway, we only voted on the change in the amount. So I'm going ahead and calling a vote to change the fining policy before we put it at the, notarize it. And,
Just the amount is the only thing we're changing?
yes.
Okay.
So do I have a motion to amend the policy?
I motion to amend it.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, unanimous. Open pool for spring break. That was yours now.
Yeah, my hope is that, while we still have water, that we may be open for spring break, and I've spoken a little bit to Ms. Cavender regarding whether or not we're gonna be charging our members to swim. And hopefully we'll have it prepared for the entire week of spring break, which starts March 14th. That's a Friday, and then it'll go on that following week. That's hopefully the beginning of all this, and there'll be further discussion about possibly having it open to the public in April and May if we have water. But it won't be, the official kickoff won't happen until Memorial Day weekend if we have water. So let's all continue to pray for rain, and so that we have, this will be the first year in 3 years the creek hasn't gone dry, hopefully. I feel confident it will stay up, but my feelings and what actually happens are two different things. Mrs. Cavender, what are you more or less thinking about charging if we open it to the non-members?
We're thinking, I believe, either $5 to $7 for non-members, and then, children under 4, I believe, free, and then 5 until, I think, 17, I believe it would be probably 5, and then, members' guests would be half of that, but I haven't done all the details. These are things I'm thinking of and trying to figure out how we're gonna monitor that. An idea, and you can all give me your feedback. In our rules and regulations, I've read multiple times, it does say in there that our members are supposed to have a membership card. And when you're on a military base, if anybody lived on one, you had to have your military ID. You went so they knew who you were. And I know at one time there used to be the membership cards, and it's a privilege to live here, and I think everybody that's here would say yes. And I think a membership card shows that privilege, and it helps identify you're here, you're a member, to people who wouldn't have one. So when our security goes down to the pool to check, if you don't have that membership card, you're paying. So it's something I'm working on. I really hope that once I have that all put together, that the members will really embrace that, because you guys are the fort. And having that membership card says, I am a member of this great place. And it will help me know who is not a member, so I can charge them appropriately. So that's something I'm working on. But feedback, email me all you want.
And last year, we allowed adult children that live here full-time to get in there, and we allowed grandkids of members to go in there, and we allowed full-time renters to also get into the pool. I mean, I'm getting charged the same amount for all my dozen lots. But can my tenants go in there? Well, we allowed it last year, so I suggest we allow it. I told them all, you can go. I don't know that any of them even took advantage of it. But I would also think grandkids, it's kind of like they live here. And if you live with your parents, taking care of them, helping them, maybe you should be able to get in there. It's just-
My point of this discussion was to make sure that we have a plan in place to be in, if there's water there, that we're gonna be open for business and making a little bit of money on the week of spring break, March 14th, and that week after.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, last item. And as Kurt said, let's all take a deep breath. I know everybody has strong opinions about this. Possible special assessment for motel HOA reserve study. So we had the town hall, and probably most of you were here, at that one or have seen it. The bid that we did have originally, they had to step out, they lost too much of their crew, and right now can't do that project. But we still have other bids. So, I'm opening it up to discussion with the board members first on this. I know there's been talks of adding the reserve study, so, I guess starting with Memo, what are your thoughts?
After the town hall, I think I became more convinced that, we're going to need the extra money to do the motel. My only concern is how much are we gonna ask for the members, me being one of them, hey, with a special assessment. I think if we request a reasonable amount and we are able to identify those monies when requested or how the money is being spent, I think we should go forward. Okay.
John?
Mr. Manis, we have part of that written off, right?
Oh, great question. So Mr. Mann actually came out.
He used to own his own construction company, and he put a temporary support to hold the support. Just to make sure there aren't, if any accidents were to happen, that is going to hold that, so nothing's going to fall. And that's already been completed. And it's cedar, and it's a normal 6x6, so when the work is done, they can take that support that he put in right next to it. You can go down there and look at it right next to it, and they can reuse that, because most of those, I believe, are made out of cedar, those supports.
Correct.
I want to go backwards a little bit in the conversation. Miro, you might know the answer to this. When was the last special assessment?
2020.
And what was it for, the trash truck?
No, 2020 was for the taxes, and the trash truck was in 2016.
Okay, and so when are, I'm not 100% familiar with all this, when are taxes due? Generally, when we pay them?
Before October 1st.
Okay, and I think that, talking to some of the people prior to us ever having this conversation, they said they generally would get an assessment for taxes. And so, I'm going to switch teams a little bit here. The special assessment says, in addition to regular assessments and improved residential assessment, and without the vote of the membership, the board may establish special assessments in the amount necessary to pay any deficit of the association for any fiscal year. Such special assessment may be levied only once in a calendar year. So I think that the problem here is that in the past it's been done either when we didn't have any money in the bank, or when it was getting close to tax time and we were running a deficit. I think that doing a special assessment is what I would prefer to do. I would prefer that everybody be realistic and not be so tight about $40 or $50. I understand that you can't eat at Ziggy's for $40 or $50. As a matter of fact, I ate with Lisa and Charlene yesterday, and it was $90 for us three. Well, and my two kids. And so I just think it's really unrealistic to be upset about 40 or 50 bucks. That's just my personal opinion. However, the way that this is written, it does establish a past tense wording, and in historical context, it's been done for taxes, which are done in October, which is the end of our fiscal year. I don't know how, in the wording here, for any fiscal year, how you could do it at the beginning of the year or the middle of the year. And the way it's worded, it's almost like you almost got to do it at the end of the year. So here's what I would propose. Mr. Mann has shorted up. I know you don't like this, but has shorted up, has made it safe. We got to block off the rooms that are affected, and we take it out of the general fund. We have the money in the general fund. We take it out. We do this project. We take it out of the general fund. And at the end of the year, we're going to be running a deficit, and we'll have to do a special assessment for that deficit.
I've heard no argument that we are I don't know, but I've heard the argument that we are able to do a special assessment for the taxes and a separate one for some other deficit that we have. But I haven't really
Yeah,
realized the
it
thing.
doesn't say that.
Someone has told me that.
Well, it's the common property assessment. Yes. So there's a common property assessment that you can pay for mud taxes. It's very specific for mud taxes. But the special assessment is for, the deficit.
Yeah, so that's what I would propose. We're not completely broke. We got $804,000 in accounts that we pay it out of our general fund. And when we get towards the end of the year, if we're running a deficit, we do a special assessment to pay for the taxes. I mean, it's going to be this big loop-de-loop, but it's going to be the same thing at the end of the day.
Well, again, you said the general fund. Would you not want to pull it from the restricted?
Well, we could, but the restricted fund doesn't have a budget. It doesn't run a positive or negative balance. The general fund is what runs a deficit or a surplus.
I mean, we should get a budget on that restricted fund. But,
I don't know that we need a budget. We need reporting.
Yeah, so we had several bids. I saw some come in at 8 a.m. revised. I have not read those. So are we proposing we do just the minimum to fix the motel to make it safe? Or we're gonna go with a $40,000 withdrawal from the general fund? What are we talking about doing?
That's a good question.
I can kind of answer this. Currently, John, right now, we're in a deficit,
Well,
$175,000 right
Right.
now. So
Right.
no, I can't take that out. Not until the end of the year. So if we want to wait till the end of the year
We
to do
can take
this,
from the
we can.
restricted fund. It won't affect your
We
operational
can take
budget.
it out of the restricted fund and pay the restricted fund back if we do it that way. But we paid the taxes in October,
Right.
so that is the fiscal year right now. So then we do a special assessment for the taxes that we've already paid, which was $132,000. But even with the highest, that still wouldn't cover that. It would cover most of it, but not all of it.
Well, we can only pay mud from the common property, which is 20 to 30,000. It's a burden there.
The
Oh,
school
I
district
got you.
gets most of the
Okay,
money.
okay, I got you. So,
I think my point is to continue the conversation on it, not necessarily to say that one's right or one's not right. It's just that we've been talking about the special assessment in only the context of special assessment, being done. And I think that we need to be discussing all options so that everybody gets a more clear picture of what's going on. Those are our options. We can take it out of the restricted fund, we can take it out of the general fund, or we can do a special assessment. But we are, I believe, running a $175,000 deficit right now. When I was looking at it last night, 175.
right, and at the beginning of the year, so everybody knows, we paid the insurance, and we paid the taxes right away, so we didn't have to pay interest. We saved almost $11,000 doing that. And we knew we were gonna show a deficit. So it was 200, I believe, and $23,000 in October deficit. Now we're down to 173. So we are gaining it back. It probably will take about 4 more months to see that, maybe 5. But by the end of the year, we should show a favorable variance.
Well, if we're showing a deficit now and do the special assessment now, when it work out,
I mean, we're showing a special adjustment because we spent all the money on the taxes and the insurance at the beginning of the year based on cash accounting. I get the argument that if we don't collect assessments, it looks like we were supposed to get more than we wanted, which we need to be adjusted, but I just don't see a clear picture. I see we're negative 175, but we're up
Our
25 every
discussion
month.
is on this, not on whether we're cash or fuel right now.
Well, his comment is we're a deficit of negative 175,000, which wouldn't show that way if we were doing accrual account.
But then that's not cash in your hand.
But it is a better forecast for large business and
It's
complex things.
forecasted, right, exactly, to give investors more of an idea that, oh, this company is doing
Well, we
fantastic.
got investors of sorts sitting right here. They're investing their money every
Exactly,
month.
Right,
so they would want to see
This
the
is
real
not,
money.
this is not the discussion, this is not the action item. So, do we have? Yes,
Ms. Cavender, is there gonna be a potential of bid going up the longer we delay this?
Well, no, I don't foresee that happening.
And you need 40,000, we need 40,000 to fix the motel.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
yes, sir.
So, as you are aware, or Charlene at least, definitely knows, I've been documenting both hotel buildings actually. And I have also, established contact with engineers who agreed to come here for a very small fee, basically gas money, on their way through to Martha, which is
Okay.
amazing. But they're unable to, that will be early March.
We're
And
good.
which gives me time to complete my documentation of what's going on. And I agree with, we don't really know until we explore it further. So I mean, I'm for the assessment, but I can't say we really have a refined scope that addresses all the things. And there's categories like life safety, which is the current concern. And then there's other stuff that may be ugly, but is cosmetic and necessary for long-term maintenance. But that the scope as it is currently defined is kind of a combination of the two. So I'm just in getting engineers involved and me putting together documents for them to use. And they've already seen pictures, but they need more from me to get further. I'm just saying I'm for it, but we do need to collect more information to address it properly. Yes, money needed, but we're just not there yet. So.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you,
Aaron.
Aaron. Aaron, when did you say? First part of March, end of March?
So early March, and
Early March.
it would be really cool if we could get them here on Fort Clark days.
Oh, that would be.
So they pass through regularly on their way to Marfa, and they never stop. They don't know like people do, but they definitely are interested in this kind of work. Well, not as a business model. Personal interest. Yeah. So
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Did anyone else have any input they'd like to give? So, is there a motion or no?
I just make a motion that we table it and we revisit it in either in March or April. We're shored up to some degree now, and
I agree.
just get a little further down the road.
Are we in agreement to table? Okay.
Before we all leave, can I make a comment?
Yeah, hold on a second. We're still gonna do the committee reports. We just wanted to do this first. So that when he has to take off, he can take off.
I was just gonna mention it to John or something that I got, she all about. It was short.
No, just let us finish this.
Okay.
And if he goes to run out, I just tap.
Okay, I'll tell him I'm
So give me Jeopardy.
No.
Okay, so, back up to the top. We have, airport, report. I don't believe so. All right, no, airport. Architecture? Did they send this? Thought I saw one, no? And was that announced at the beginning when I was like, that Mr. that was
Yeah,
passed
but
away?
usually Francis gives it.
Okay. Golf committee, do we have anything?
Reservation.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for acknowledging each other. And keep our prayers with Francis and David and Timothy. Thank you. Okay, preservation. We met on February the 12th. And here's our report from Constance. The repairs on Dickman Hall are almost complete. Some of the areas of paint color have been changed from brown to gray. This is because the original color was gray rather than brown. The front doors of the service club are being replaced as the current front doors are rotted out. We have found new front doors that are the correct style to replace the existing doors. Many of the windows of the service club need to be replaced because the wood is rotted out. There are areas in the process of getting bids on this project. These windows will need to be built to spec and are unavailable from Modern Window sources. Next page. The Kinney County Historical Commission has completed their annual inspection of buildings in Kinney County that have Texas Historical Commission plaques. A problem was found on the rear stairway of Seminole Hall. Charlena quickly responded to this and put up a gate and a sign that says "Keep Out" at the bottom of the stairs so that no one will attempt to climb the stairs. Also, they found several problems with the post theater, such as it needing paint and a window screen that was damaged by hail. We are in the process of contacting the state office of the Historical Commission to inquire if they provide classes to teach County Historical Commission members how to evaluate historical buildings. We continue to question the guidelines that they follow. Respectfully submitted, Constance Cooper. What?
Michelle,
That made up for all the other committee.
Quick
Yes,
question.
sir.
Like
Yes.
the curtsy too.
I'm a little confused because we just fixed, preservation just fixed some of the windows at the NCO club not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was within the last 24 months.
Mm-hmm.
So that work is falling apart already?
Yes, sir.
They did that work. It's falling apart already.
Is it work that was previously done or new areas?
It was kind of new areas, but it's a local contractor.
But it was Mr. A. Chen, I remember him sitting right over there talking about how they were working on the windows.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big deal for him.
I know. Mm-hmm.
And there are, 24 months have gone by and they're already falling apart?
Well, some of it is new, some of it was work that was previously done.
May I ask a question? If by working on the windows, they didn't work on the frames themselves, they just put individual panes in?
Well, some of the panes were cracked or broken, but mostly it was the caulking, or not the caulking, what do they call that?
It's glazing?
Yeah, the glazing on the windows that was rotted out. And a lot of the windows at the bottom of the windowsill, the wood was rotted. It gets beat to death by the sun on that one side.
So the reason that the glazing like that you go to buy at Home Depot, it's not the right stuff? It'll be like a real light, like a talcum powdery?
No,
whatever?
it's the right stuff.
Does it take weeks to dry?
Most likely.
Yeah.
And they probably didn't give it enough time to dry thoroughly before they painted it, which, you know, if the glazing is damp still and you put paint on it, then it's gonna blister and peel. So, that sort of thing, so.
I've just seen that mistake a lot. Either
Mhm.
people will caulk it or they'll use that real cheap glaze.
Right.
The good glaze, you gotta take them out, controlled environment, put it in there, let it dry for a couple of weeks, take
Yeah.
care of it, put it back in.
Yeah.
It's quite the
And I don't know
process.
what material they used when they did that.
But, you know, it's throwing good money after bad sometimes. Depends on who does the work.
Thank you.
And just as are they doing an inspection before the final payment is made? I mean, I know that doesn't help if it's something that's done.
No, generally preservation pays in thirds, and the final payment isn't made until it's inspected, and I think Philip does the inspections. You know, make sure that it passes, and then the contractor gets their last payment. But, you know, a lot of times the work looks good at first, and then a couple of weeks later starts looking like crap. You know how that goes.
Yeah, because you can't tell until.
I know, yeah, so, but we're trying.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sharon.
We need a new contractor. Thank you.
And recycling. Oh,
Recycling. Good morning.
it's like you just appeared.
We finished off 2024 with contribution for cardboard that was $1,945. Yes. So for 24, we made a profit of $5,079. So that's super. I gave the board a listing of 9 years of data, and the total for 9 years net income was $29,689.
That's amazing.
Yay, we need more. We need more people though to bring recycled products. And and I left a few graphic cards in the back in case you don't know the 9 products that we do take. So that's back there. Tonnage for the 9 years. This is amazing. 382.42 tons, which amounts in regular pounds of 764,840 pounds. So that sounds like a lot, but we need a lot more. And I'm still waiting for $337 from Waste Management. They tell me next week. So it's like the check is in the mail, but we're waiting. The big news is we did get a forklift. It's a 2018 model. I have a few photos, but I'm not sure that Adam is ready to show them. But anyway, come. We're open 4 to 6 on Thursday, and today on Saturdays 8:30 to 12. If you want to take a look at it. It was tax-free, and thank you Community Council for the 501c3. Yeah. It cost $16,000, and Union Pacific Railroad grant paid $10,000, and I had $88 left over. So the Fort Clark only paid $5,912. Pretty good. So we're happy. I guess that's all. We're closed for Fort Clark days, March 8th. So.
Well, and I just want to say, in that tonnage that she gave us, that's what didn't go into the landfill, which
Yes.
didn't fill it up, which didn't cause, it extends the life before we dig new cells, so.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Leah, thank you very much, and in spirit of transparency, the members worked over paid $5,900 toward a $16,000 forklift.
Right.
So we are getting a lot of bang for our buck
Yeah.
because of you.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you bet.
Thank you.
Election committee.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank all the people that were involved in this, since we had not quite double the ballots to send this year. So we had to obtain more volunteers than just the 2 per candidate. So I'm gonna take a few minutes. I asked Tony if I could do this, and I wanna name the people that actually helped us, because they don't always get credit, and they need to be credited. On the 5th, when we did all the ballot prep, which was attaching labels to the ballots and putting everything in 50 count bundles, and having Gabby retype labels that are bad and messed out. Actually, out of 2,800 plus, we only had one upside down one. And Letty fixed it for us. So anyway, the committee itself, Constant Kilgore, Pat Stephenson, Francois Bitter, Sherry Dobbs, and of course, Board Secretary Tony Hackville. And then additionally, Mr. Bitter did help us that day with attaching labels, and we want to offer greatest condolences to Francis. And to assist us, Debbie Isaacs, Chris Race, Linda O'Brien, and Kathy Warren. Without them, we couldn't have gotten the labels done. That day we had 23 people signed up, 20 showed up. Actually, one that didn't show up was one of the volunteers for one of the candidates. So next year, please, candidates, make sure your guy's gonna show up.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
It was me.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't me, it was my volunteer.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything. You didn't have anything to do with it, but, the only problem we had was people showing up on time at 8:30. And somehow we have that problem every year, and I don't know how to correct that. Our volunteers, Patty Knoll, Sharon Greger, Vida Kelly, Jackie McDonald, Vicki Lee, Madeline Mora, Jeff White, Verna Thompson, Marianne Oliver, Debbie Hackstetter, Christy Palmer, Suzanne May, Erica, I hope I don't slaughter this, Grader, Noni Mendios, Ava Martinez, Mary Jane Olson, Marilyn Huber, Ron Fleming, Kathy Warren, Helena McBride. So we were managed to get all the ballots mailed by 11:30 on Friday.
Wow.
Which is about the same time we always mail them, so having the extra people there is helpful. Tony and I delivered the ballots in the trays to the post office at 11:15. And I have to thank admin. Everything was taken care of. We had the check-in sheet, gave it to the postmaster. They had a check ready, they had the money in the account, everything worked perfectly. And I want to thank all the people in admin that helped, Charlena and Cassie and Marisol, to get us all the stuff we needed and all the help we needed, and it worked out perfectly this year. So we had 1,631 active members, and because of so many questions about inactives, we had 1,324 inactives. Of all those, we had some, and we'll have to have Tony explain some of the changes in the total ballots. Some of them, properties had already sold, and we had to take them off the list. That adjusted, and then there was another adjustment for 132 ballots that I'll let Tony explain. So in the end, we mailed 956 envelopes to Bracketville residents, 1,863 to other, and for a total of 2,819 ballots delivered. And it came out perfect after we adjusted the list. We weren't even off by one ballot. It's awesome. We did meet Thursday, well, a couple of us did, because, we had one person, Sherry Dobbs, was in the hospital. And unfortunately, and Francis was sick. It was not a good day for, not a good week for Francis. We did do some debriefing, and we believe that this year we finally met all of our goals. We had enough people to help us. Admin did their job. The yellow ballots are the best change we've made because we know which piece of paper now to put in the front. Everything was done on time. Post office was prepared. We had one person, thanks to Pat Stephenson, sorted out all of the bracket bills because we had to split those out for the post office. They had to go in a separate tray. And Pat took care of that. We had really good glue sticks. Those were perfect. Oh my, the old ones, we have water-based and we'd be constantly wiping water off the tables. These work great.
I'll make sure to notate that.
Yes. And we had all of our volunteers enough to do it, and Tony did a great job. Again, the only problem was volunteers showing up on time. And that's gonna happen every year because someone didn't get their coffee in the morning and have to feed their cat. So, are there any questions?
No question. I don't have any questions. I want to give me some. But I do want to make sure I say thank you and thank you to the whole team and you guys do an excellent job.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandy. You guys are awesome.
How much have we spent up to now for the election?
I don't know. I don't keep track of that. Charlene will have to run those numbers for you.
How much have we spent?
Just in postage, we spent $2,100. And in printing, we spent $3,000.
So we spent a little over 5,000 already.
$3,000 for printing?
And we haven't-
Rounding it off.
And we haven't paid the auditor yet.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes, for printing, we printed almost twice as many. And they fold them for us. Okay. And they do 2 envelopes, the ballot and the pamphlet. By the way, the pamphlet is beautiful this year. Yeah. Yes.
The reason I point that out is because I would like the membership to understand that we're not being conservative in regards to, and we take the election very seriously, and appropriate money is being spent correctly, and whatever needs to be spent so that everything is taken care of as it should be taken care of.
Right, and I should add also that Tony is working with our HOA attorney to find a way to eliminate addresses that are so bad that they've been, for 10 years, they've been coming back every year, and we can't find them. The tax office can't find them. It's a waste of money to send ballots to people that may no longer exist or have moved so many times that we can't find them. So Tony's working with the attorney to see if we can eliminate at least those really grossly bad addresses. We ran into half a dozen, just looking at the list, that had only a name and a state. I mean, that was it. They had a name and a state. And we checked all of those that we could catch with Gabby to make sure that it wasn't a misprint. And no, that's all we have for these people. So obviously, that envelope is going to come back. So we're going to collect all those returns. And so our attorneys will have something to work with. Because it's expensive and it's labor intensive. And there must be a way. We can't be the only HOA with this problem. So we need to find a way to work with the Secretary of State, State of Texas, to at least inactivate those with such bad addresses that we've never been able to find them properly.
Sure. How many of them have any envelopes come back yet?
We got 2 back. So they're in my office. So we'll
Why
wait.
would they come back here? Oh, they came back, never mind, yeah,
Return to send.
okay.
And has anybody complained about, up to now, has anyone complained not receiving a ballot?
Richard Moore didn't complain, but he had just sold his property and Tony already took care of it.
So just only one person had an issue.
That's
with it.
all I know. So,
And it'll take 7-10 days for those out of the area because we have ballots going everywhere from Canada, Mexico, East Coast, West Coast, South America. They're going everywhere. So and one other thing too, Tony is the person to take care of any missing ballots, any invalidated ballots, whatever, you ruin an envelope, get a new one from Tony. You screw up your ballot, Tony will trade you one for that. And they'll put me labor on it. But the election committee is done. In March, we will ask you to suspend the committee until September, that we want to give you our final report. Before we do that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sandy.
Thank you, Sandy.
You're welcome.
Before we recess, I just want to pick a point of privilege, I guess, and say, I know things have been contentious. I know, feelings run high. Some of that is just, it's an election, we're close to the election. Articles keep getting put in the paper, everybody's got their assumptions, everybody's, but this board has tried really hard to be positive, to be open to the membership. And I just hope that, however the election turns out, that we all just kind of take a breath and remember we're neighbors, we're friends, we're all members, we're volunteers up here. You all are volunteers, you're here, and I appreciate that. And I just would like to see us take a breath and remember, we're all here together and we're a community. So
I want to know.
So I'd like to say, I've got something I'd like to say. Can you hear me?
yes.
I'm clear.
Okay. All right. First, this is unrelated to our election. The first thing I want you to do is to record my negative vote to table the issue regarding the motel repairs. Just make sure that the minutes reflect that I voted against that.
Okay.
All right. The second thing, with regard to the election, there was significant effort made to notify all members that they needed to be sure and correct their addresses prior to the election so that ballots could go out. And I think it's important to note as well that it is incumbent on the member who purchases or is involved in a transaction where there's a change of ownership. Someone needs to be sure to get the record straight in our admin office so that we have an accurate address to which to send ballots. And there were a large number of accounts in the name of the Caney County Appraisal District for which addresses are reflected to be the person that previously owned the property. And that conjures up an issue that needs a lot of discussion with our attorney, and Ms. Hagan is right. I am intent, even after I'm off of the board, to volunteer my time to try to get the issues resolved that have to do with to whom ballots can be. There was, since the ballots have gone out, there was a couple of dispatches notifying members who have issues with their ballots to contact me, and I'm currently addressing 4 different emails that either involved having not received a ballot or having not received an envelope in which to return the ballot to the auditors. Richard Moore was mentioned, and I'm going to take care of his situation. And I think it was Miss Huey that didn't get a return envelope. Someone, and I can't remember who it was, someone pointed out that they had actually received 2 ballots in one mailing, one envelope. And that won't work because each ballot, if you own multiple lots and you received multiple ballots, each ballot must be returned in a separate envelope. So if that is a problem, be sure and let us know, and I can help to take care of that as well. But yes, there are issues that I hope will be resolved by the time the next election takes place that has to do with all of these ballots that I believe had to be mailed to addresses that are probably not good addresses. And I expect, and Charlene, I think I heard you say that you had received a couple of ballots returned. And I want to point out that it's very important that we collect all of those and keep them so that we can do our comparison. If any ballots get returned because of the return address on the envelope, then be sure to collect all of them because we'll utilize those whenever we get further into this to resolve the issue of to whom we must send back. So it's going to be a relatively long, drawn-out process, but I'm intent on trying to help get it resolved before the next election. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, just a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, after the meeting, please go by the volunteer center where the firehouse was at. We have a lot of items there that are for sale. All proceeds, every single penny collected from that auction are going to Park Days. And we appreciate everyone's cooperation and you all patronizing the auction. Thank you.
All right, it is 10:30 and we are recessed until we reconvene at 1 o'clock for executive session. Thank you, everyone. All right. We can reconvene at 1:08 and we have a quorum and we are now adjourning into executive session. All right. So it is 3:15. We are back from executive to regular session. We just need to make a note of the ballots that were returned were not ballots that had been actually filled out. It just got returned to us, but it's being given to Tony for him to figure out why it got returned because there's no return to sender. So just a reminder that a regular meeting is March 15th and the annual meeting will be March 29th, the last Saturday of the month. And I'm supposed to give a little shout out to the Valentine's party that was last night that turned out really well. Everyone had a good time and it looked beautiful. And we are adjourned. And it is 3:16.